Hello and welcome to Fin24. Today we speak to Keegan O'Connell from Debt Experts National Debt Advisors. Hi Keegan.
Hi Mashfika, thanks for having me.
Welcome onto the show, Keegan. I need to get something clear that debt is not only financial and emotional, debt is also legal. And that's why we have you here today, to look at some of the legal issues that consumers face when they are indebted and specifically over-indebted.
Yes, absolutely. Just from a consumer's perspective, general public, people that get themselves into debt, often people adopt the ostrich approach where it's head underground and they just don't do anything. But there are remedies. Just to give examples, there is administration, which it focuses on smaller debts, but it's basically a restructure of your debt. There's then debt counselling, which I'll get back to, which is my main focus. And then there's sequestrations, which is quite an extreme form of debt relief, but it's basically declaring yourself insolvent and
sequestrations where we don't want to go to.
Well, as I said, it's a very extreme measure. Once you're sequestrated, you remain so for a 30-year period. You can apply to the court within those 30 years to become a rehabilitated insolvent, when you can then get credit again. So it is something to be avoided. Debt counselling, however, I could describe it as a watered-down version of sequestration, and it is more used to a consumer who hasn't quite got to the point where things are so dire that there's absolutely no money. So, debt counselling is a way to restructure somebody's debt, give them breathing room every month in terms of having extra money, and within a certain period ensuring that their debt is all settled.
Okay, but we're looking at what your options are with regards to debt. So we've got administration, we've got sequestration, we've got debt counselling, but something that we can't run away from is the fact that creditors do have the right to recover their money.
Yes, absolutely. I'm going to leave sequestration aside for now because, excuse me, that contemplates a situation where your creditors will get something. They'll get 25 cents in the rand, for instance, across the board. Debt counselling wise, very often your creditors will still get paid what is due to them. And as you said before, they have rights to enforce credit agreements legally if money is not paid.
And consumers cannot simply stick their heads in the sand and ignore the rights of a creditor who also has the right to recover their money. There's something in the industry which is called a Section 129. And a Section 129 is something that people often miss because of denial. Tell me a little bit more about the Section 129.
There's actually been, interestingly enough, there's been a lot of litigation in this country over Section 129 and other areas of the National Credit Act. But Section 129 refers to the National Credit Act. Okay, it's a particular section of the Act. And it's almost akin to a letter of demand. So if I'm in a situation where I've got a personal loan, I'm 6 months in arrears. Apart from cold collections such as SMSs, phone calls from the bank, that sort of thing, they will hand me over to attorneys and I'll receive a Section 129, which is essentially a letter in terms of Section 129 of the National Credit Act that tells me I'm in default, tells me I need to pay, but gives me options. Go and see a debt counsellor, go and see an administrator, go to the ombudsman. And often what happens is, if you're a person that's in debt and you've got your credit providers contacting you every time you...
When credit providers contacting me, I can understand.
Yes.
It's the constant calling.
No, absolutely.
It's the constant virtual harassment.
Yes.
And so you get that, and then you get a letter, and you don't even want to open the letter.
Yeah. Well, I think that's what we're going to talk about next. You get it via registered post, you see the slip and you think, my creditors are contacting me every day. I don't need this letter. I don't want to see this letter, and you either never collect it or you throw away the slip. Next thing, you receive a summons, the letter's annexed to it, and you're in a position where you say, I didn't receive it, and perhaps you didn't receive it, but it is your own fault that you didn't receive it. Okay, leaving aside situations where perhaps it didn't find the correct address. When you get that Section 129, go and see a debt counsellor. Act, do something, because the sooner you act, the sooner a rearrangement of your debt can be made with the bank. That is the start of the potential rot.
There are also the other options available. If you don't want to go see a debt counsellor and you don't know what debt counselling entails, go and see your creditor. Go to your creditor, although the amount of airtime that it takes and transport money that it takes to get there,
Yes, sure.
also just makes sense to go and see somebody that could liaise with them. I always find that is a problem. When
Yes, sure.
consumers are at their most cash strapped, we're sitting in a country where the debt collection industry makes it virtually unaffordable for us to get in touch with our creditors who are actually wanting us to pay. We want them to try and make the arrangement to pay. But have you ever tried calling a call center in South Africa?
All the time. Yes, I know. Just from a personal perspective, phoning the bank to get a relatively menial task done, you do get transferred from agent to agent, and it's you wait and you wait and you wait. Obviously, being debt counselors, we have good communication channels with the banks because we deal with them all the time. As an individual, perhaps not. So an advantage of seeing a debt counsellor is you've got a liaison between your credit provider and yourself. However, if you mentioned go and see your credit provider, even go into your nearest branch. Just start somewhere, and you can even a telephone call can even be made from them to the call center. You're not going to waste any of your own.
But just
own
become
money.
proactive about
Absolutely,
the debt
yes.
and take action, take little action in doing something about it.